Hi, I'm Sophie Wilson, and this is People of the Pool, where we have conversations with those making a positive change in Liverpool's business community. We're known for our music, for our culture, tourism, and of course, football. But what's caught my eye since moving back from down south is the innovation and entrepreneurship that's happening in the city region. And this podcast is about championing just that. I'm blue, not red. I don't have a purple wheelie bin, but I'm still a proud Scouser, and I can't wait to share the stories of positive, inspirational changemakers with me. In this episode of People of the Pool, we meet Mark Waldron and Andrea Edwards, founders of Move, a unique personal development online community helping people in Liverpool better themselves and their businesses. Mark and Andrea, welcome to People of the Pool.
Hi, thank you for having us.
Glad to be here.
Good to see you. So let's start from the beginning, because I know you both have a very unusual story about how you met and how you founded the business. So can you tell us? Do you want to start, Andrea?
Okay, well, it was on lockdown.
Yeah.
So I wish I could remember who this person was. I realised I had to sort of get back out networking again after the chaos of lockdown. And somebody said to me, have you heard of Mark Waldron? I said, no, never heard of him. So I looked him up online, on LinkedIn, and sent him a message and just said, hey, can you tell me a bit about what Move Online is? And in true Mark style, he sent back this little message with a link. And I don't know why, but in that moment, I wasn't obviously in a strong place mentally. And it was 7 a.m. on a Wednesday morning. And I was like,
this was for an event at 7 a.m.
Yeah. And I was just like, in my head, I don't think I can be up for 7 a.m. 2 months earlier, I used to get 7:57 train to London or Nottingham. So I'd be out the house by 5 a.m. So I don't think I could get out of bed and get downstairs.
It was
to
the lockdown, wasn't it?
There was obviously something not right there. So I wrote back, but that's a bit early. And Mark wrote something like, when you're ready, you'll know. Well, that just got under my skin. So
No, it was like, that's fine, and you just come when you think you can make it. Like, I'm not going to chase you.
So this is someone you've never met before. You're already a successful business person running a series of hospitality businesses.
Yes.
You're wanting to sort of find some new community through lockdown.
Yeah.
You get told about this crazy bloke that runs events at 7 a.m. in the morning. And yeah, so that's how it starts.
Yeah, so, just a little back, I had 120 staff at the time, massively into hospitality, but always been a business coach and had been a business coach for, it is now 15 years, was 13 and a half at the time. And I just needed to change where I was putting myself out, because I needed to have clients, had no money coming in due to COVID. So I joined Mark on Move Online as one of the people, a paid member, and I did 2. And after the second one, I said to my husband, Peter, I think I'm going to ask Mark, does he want a business partner? And I'll pass the rest over to you.
Simple as that. And then she grabbed my arm and put it up the back of me. I was like, no.
She didn't physically grab your arm, though, because you'd never physically met in person before you decided to take a huge leap and go into business together.
That is correct. We, literally a couple of the Move Online meetings we do, which, we still do to this day. We have 4 a week. We were on the actual one this morning, recording this on a Wednesday, and Andrea had come on 2 of the, week 1 week, then the next week. We just said, let's catch up, because it looks like what you're doing is something I was going to do myself anyway. And I like coaching people, I like seeing businesses be better, creating a community, but you've already built it. Let's see if there's some, is there a partnership there? Is there a collaboration? So I was open to that. And probably within 2 to 3 weeks, we'd established, there's no point trying to work together in some sort of collaboration. We should just both be working together to achieve this goal, because we've both got the same type of goal. And the key thing was, randomly, for a few months leading up to that point, I'd said to my wife, Steph, I hate working on my own. While I can do it, I know I am not as fast. And again, being critical of myself, I'm definitely better in teams. I'm better when I'm around other people to try and, bounce ideas off. I like being in front. I like being a leader, but you can't be a leader of no one. So I thought, if I've got a business partner or someone in the business, I'd rather have a piece of half of a big pie than the whole of a little tiny pie.
But it's a huge commitment going into business with someone. It's almost the same, if not even more so than marriage in a way, in terms of you are committing to spend a lot of time together. How, just for listeners as well, to get their head around it, you've not seen the whites of each other's eyes, literally.
Do you know what? If you're asking me to do it now, I would have said, why would you do that? You've got to build a relationship first. I don't know if it was the chaos of COVID, but it just felt right. We were online. We did, 2-3 weeks of meetings together. We sort of did an outline of what it would look like, what elements of the business we wanted to be involved with, what outcomes we wanted to achieve, and what the bigger picture was. And we were just so aligned. We didn't actually meet it was 2 or 3 months after we'd incorporated. We incorporated the business, opened a bank account, both put funds into a bank account. And we didn't meet until on Move Social was the first time we met outside one of my businesses. That was the first time we'd physically seen each other.
Phenomenal.
I don't know if Mark only knew I was this small, in fact, until...
I can't remember. You probably preempted that, I think. Because we all look the same size on Zoom, don't we?
I mean, it's such a phenomenal story, because anybody who knows the two of you, you're so complementary as founders, and your differing skills, you just work together, and it's just amazing that you took that leap. Yeah. So tell us a little bit about this whole concept of moving, because that is at the core, Mark, isn't it, of everything that you do?
I'd say even the word move and calling a company Move, like why did that come about? And the thing for me was, as a construction company owner, which I used to have, grew that up, doing well, got lots of subcontractors and got this business. People used to ask me, how did you get so much business? Or, how are you running a company like that? And how are you always in good spirits? And you obviously go to the gym, and you're physically fit and you're mentally fit. And people used to come to me, almost see me as a mentor, which is like very nice, very complimentary. So I used to ponder, like, why are they coming to me? What have I achieved that they've not, and why did they see me as the person to come and ask when they could ask anyone? So I just thought, how have I actually achieved what I've achieved so far in life? And I'm not a multi-millionaire. I don't go and compete in bodybuilding competitions. I've got a decent physique because I go to the gym, and I've got all these good things going for me, but just on a decent level. And I thought, well, to have a decent physique, I've got to physically go to a gym and move. I can't go to the gym and do nothing. And if I want to be in a good mindset, I've got to be, mindful. I've got to be reading books and up on knowledge and, being self-aware. If I want my business to do well, I've got to keep going. Even when those bad times come and you make mistakes and you lose money, I've got to keep moving. And that way kept coming up, move. All the areas in life that you can progress in. If you keep moving, as in the opposite of don't do anything, be still, go stagnant, that's ultimately going backwards. So I'm into really progressing in life and being the best I can and encouraging other people to be that. So that one single word, move, encapsulated everything. So, and just by chance, I was doing a mental toughness program called 75 Hard. It entailed a bunch of tasks every day. This in 2019. One of them had to be an outdoor workout. So I decided, well, I'll start doing a fast-paced walk every day around West Gaming Arena. And by doing that every single day, people used to sort of see me on social media because I'd be active on there with video. Can I come on the walk with you, please, Mark? Because I'm thinking about, I need to get out and about, I need to get a bit fit and healthy. Just talking about generally, I can see that what you're doing is something I need to do.
So you were going on a walk every day as part of a personal development program, and you were posting about this on your social media.
I'm on my Instagram, going live, doing stories. And right, guys, I'm out and about doing my daily walk, talking about 75 Hard and why it was good, but also giving business tips and mindset tips so people can see, okay, this guy, he's got something about him, or he seems to know what he's talking about, and he's actually walking a walk, like literally and figuratively. And eventually, enough people wanted to come with me. I thought, imagine getting a bunch of business owners together, all going for a walk. We'd all get to network, we'd all get to help each other, we'd be getting fit and healthy in the process, plus good mindset, good mental health, being out in nature, even if it's raining. And so I thought I'll create an event, which is networking and walking, and I'll call it Netwalking, as simple as that. And within a week or two of doing that, and we ended up with 4 people coming to the first one, 13 coming a week later, thought this is decent. And I'm still running the company at that time, the construction, but I thought I like this. I'll call it Move Netwalking and not just Netwalking, because this seems to encapsulate everything I've been talking about, being physically fit and healthy. It improves your mindset, I've got community, so I'm around other people with relationships. I get to bounce ideas off people, get to give help. They get to help me. People are passing referrals of business and collaborating. For what more could you want in life? It literally covers everything.
It's such a simple concept, isn't it? But it embodies so much. Yeah. I saw a poster in Cyprus last week, and it was, life's like riding a bicycle. You just got to keep moving.
That's it.
No, I love that. So tell us about, so you've now got over 1,000 members, followers online. And one of the most popular things that I know you've diversified, and we'll talk about that in a moment, but this weekly netwalking is one of the most popular activities, isn't it? It's a huge part of what the community is about.
Just before we sat down here, somebody sent me a link to a post from LinkedIn, which said, basically had a scan of somebody's brain prior to walking and then doing 20 minutes walking. And the activity of the brain and what it's doing for somebody mentally, it's really hard to sum up. I'm not a morning person, so if you're listening to this and you don't think you can come, you're not a morning person, you absolutely can. How you feel at 8:30 when you've done 10,000 steps, or if you're my size, 11,000 steps, it's always good to get those 11,000 steps in, and you're about to go and chat and have some breakfast, and you've achieved so much. It is so exhilarating. It really, really is. It can be absolutely pouring down. It can be cold. It can be windy. But when you've done that, it actually makes you just feel stronger and better. So mentally, you're much more prepared for the week ahead. And
you do this every Saturday and every Sunday, don't you? Yeah. Without fail. So I've never actually made it to one, just purely my excuse being on the north end. But
you are a bit far away. But yeah, I mean, I started it in 2019, 14th of July. Not that I'm counting the days, but that's when we started it. So it's nearly 4 years doing it.
Wow.
The only time I miss a day, which is I'll probably count on one hand of the days I've missed, is because of being away on holiday. Just can't physically get there. But even when me and wife booked Centre Parks the weekend, I actually decided I don't want to go the weekend anymore because I'm going to miss network and we're going to do Monday to Friday. I'll purposely book trips away through the week rather than the weekend.
How is Steph with that?
She's all right because she gets an extra day. Because the weekend's Friday to Monday, 4 days.
Yeah.
But Monday to Friday is an extra day. So she wins. But the actual walks themselves, as Andrea said, they're so beneficial and it's literally, I mean, we charge £6. You're going to meet a really good bunch of people. But even if someone didn't come to networking, getting out about walking is literally free to do. But it's got the biggest gain on physical health, mental health, which is a big issue these days. And if you want to be the best in your business, there's no way you're going to be able to operate at the highest level if you're not physically and mentally at your best. That's why the mission of Move is to make better human beings. That's our mission. And when we say that, we mean, go and be the best business owner or the best employee. But you can't do that unless you are physically and mentally your best. Got good relationships with, those at home or your social circles or your business circles, and thinking about what you're giving back as well. And networking encompasses all of that.
And we have also listened to some feedback because not everybody can maybe do the whole walk at the beginning. So we now have 3 stop-up points as well.
Yeah.
So if people want to book on at a later time, we tell them what time and where to meet us so you can slowly integrate yourself into a longer walk.
I mean, as a creative, I find walking part of my process actually, because, when I write and tell stories, if I'm blocked, I will go for a walk, and I'll find that just even walking through a door, there's something psychological which opens a new door in your head somewhere, and it helps me to process. And there's the whole Zen Buddhist monks doing walking. I mean, there's so much, but I guess it's the accountability.
It is. It's the nature as well. We're walking around Sefton Park and West Kirby. There's wildlife around us. There's birds around us. There's so much we see and hear in that period, and that isn't even part of the conversations we're having. The conversations are anything from business to a constraint, to concern, or to celebrate something that somebody's done well, to share ideas and to just grow as humans. It's not always about business.
We've created People of the Pool podcast with the support of the team at Bengo Media. Dozens of businesses, large and small, turn to Bengo Media to get their podcasts up and running through their training, consultancy, and even hands-on production. And right now, Bengo Media is offering you, People of the Pool listeners, free online training to help get your podcast launched in 90 days. You'll get insight into the steps to take and some of the biggest mistakes to avoid. So To claim your free online podcast training from Bengo Media, go to podcastschools.com now. That's podcastschools.com. Just coming back to Move then and what it's all about, Mark, so you've got your networking and you've got a community. Just sort of summarise for listeners who perhaps don't know that Move exists, what it is, what the benefits are for them.
Well, I mean, ultimately it exists to give anyone in business or in that professional community, even if you're an employee, you're a BDM, or you've got a new job, or you're looking for a job or looking to start a business, all the way up to you're turning over a few million. No matter what level of business you're in, everybody at every stage needs help and support. If you try and do it on your own, you're going to come unstuck, or you might get there eventually to where you're going, but you could have got, why take 5 years when you can get there in 1 year? And usually that happens when you've got coaches, mentors, people to support you, people to encourage you, and all those things, and to learn. So every element of Move, whether it's Netwalk and Move Online or Move Elite Community for more established businesses, and even the people we coach, me and Andrea, no matter what level that is, people are getting all the help that they need at that point in their stage in career, whether it's finding the first client or they've built a £5 million business and now they're struggling with leadership and getting paid, £100,000 bill, which hasn't come in, and they're struggling. Like all those different issues, they can get help with within the different elements of or services that we provide at Move.
We just had a coaching client this morning, and we were talking about who has coaches and what that feels like as the business owner. And this person was describing that when they speak to their friends, oh, you have a coach, what does that mean? Sort of pre-COVID, if you had a coach, it potentially was your business wasn't doing particularly well. And it was a bit like, oh, do you need a business?
Negative
thing.
Oh,
you need a business coach. Now it's very much, oh, it's interesting you have a business coach. And we're very much behind America. In America, people have a performance coach, a health coach. And we were talking about this. If you're an elite sports person, you have a raft of coaches around you to guide you and ensure you're going down the right lines. An SME doesn't have a board. It's a very lonely place. So if you want to ensure that you're growing as quick as an MME, so a medium business, you need to pull a group of people who are expertise in their areas. And that's where coaching really works, which is why Move Elite works as well.
Yeah, so coaching is one element, networking is one element.
That's right.
You have online groups where people who are members. So you just talk the listeners through a kind of, if they were interested in joining, say at the entry level, what would they do? Yeah,
I mean, obviously if they're local, or even if they're not that local, they can plan, like some people have Netwalking, which is Merseyside based, but we've had people say, I'm going to be up in Liverpool on this weekend, I'm going to stay over, I'm going to come to your networking event. That's people in London who we've met on Clubhouse in lockdown, got to know them, build a relationship. They've come up and said we want to meet you, type of thing. So it extends not just to Liverpool but across the UK, which has been nice, and even the rest of the world, which we might cover in a bit, but at least within the UK. So networking's more for local, but Move Online, we have 4 meetings a week. It's a Zoom call, 90 minutes, very sort of, it's efficient. You don't have to drive anywhere. You can just be on your phone in your car or on your laptop.
Not driving,
obviously. No, definitely not.
Yeah.
But being parked up in a safe space and all that. And that's just, again, it's hosted. There's a set agenda, but it gives people a chance, roughly 4 to 5 minutes each, to ask a question that day and say, guys, put my hand up, here's something I'm struggling with, or here's a question I've been thinking, or here's a new idea I think I've got, what do you think? And then as a community, it could be 8, 10, 12 people on that call of business owners and professionals all having this group conversation, which doesn't, where else do you get that? You don't really get that group conversation with business owners.
It propels people forward much quicker because they don't have to go through the mistakes. They can learn from other people's mistakes to choose the right path they need to take, whether it's via HR, whether it's regarding software, whether it's regarding people, products, whatever it is, there's somebody that can help with a solution.
I mean, I have to say, being a member of Move myself, it has been great to meet other people in complementary businesses, and I've taken on a supplier from the Move community. I've made lots of referrals, new relationships have been built. So you've got all that great kind of organic
it's
stuff.
Powerful.
And actually, I have met. I wanted somebody to come on this podcast before realizing that they weren't actually based in Liverpool, but I had assumed they were because of moves. So, I mean, we've certainly seen the benefits, but tell us, I mean, there must have been so many interesting connections made through the community. Tell us, Andrea, perhaps one of your favourite stories of moves impact or...
Do you know what? There are so many across different levels of businesses, but it most probably be one of our clients that uses Netwalking, Move Elite. Mark doesn't know who I'm going to say, but by the time I go through the story, he'll have worked it out. We now coach the team directly. They started the business in the bedroom in lockdown, and they will hit £1 million turnover this year. And to have been part of that journey is a privilege because we know the nuts and bolts of what's going on, the good and the bad and the indifferent. And it really is such a powerful journey to be part of. And we have more than one of those. You know, that's one that stands out in my head. And we've also got some stories where we've really supported people where things haven't gone their way. We don't shout about that, and I'm not prepared to really talk about the detail of that. But that's when we know that we're doing what we need to do as a community and move to make sure we support people when the going gets tough, because business is tough.
And it can be very lonely being a founder of an SME myself. It can, you can have those moments. And
absolutely.
Mark, how about you? What about any stories about how Move has made a better human out of, you don't have to name names, but maybe any favourite examples that have stood out?
Do you know, again, as Andrew said, that we do 4 meetings a week. We've got all the different services. There's so many people we could bring up and say, well, they've improved, or their business is better, or they're physically a better human being, or mentally. But there's one person in particular. They've had a tough, turn of events over the last few years. Reached out to the Move community a few years ago, got involved, then ended up in a bad situation, mentally not in the best place. But just by coming onto the Move online meetings, and they said, I'm not even looking for anything. I don't want business to be passed to me. I just want to be supported by people because I'm sort of on my own and not even local to Liverpool, not even from this country actually, but lives in the UK. That person now, just by being involved and coming on weekly, is feeling so much better mentally. And today we're talking to that person about not trying to get just a job, £10 an hour basic wage, but they've got skills from the past which he could be paid £50 an hour for, or £100 an hour. So we're trying to get them into the mindset of, you've got the evidence of doing it in the past, you just need to get your confidence back. That will take time, but when you get there, it's highly likely you can get work that you'll be thriving in, not just surviving, and your mindset will be in a good place, and then they'll be empowered themselves to try and help other Move members in the future when they're in a good place. And that's what it's all about. It's about helping everyone above you, below you, and people that are on your level.
I've just thought of one more story, actually. Being on Move Online, somebody brought up that they owed money from a client. And we went around what you should do and the steps to take. And then somebody else went, I'm so embarrassed. I have the same story and I've never told anybody. I was about to let that debt just go.
Said they felt stupid. Said, I've never said anything because I just felt stupid. But the fact that you've just said it, I'm willing to open up and talk about I'm owed £1,500 on an invoice.
They both fix the problem. And then the realisation is we're carrying so much stuff in business. The person next to you is feeling the same, but when you meet somebody, they go, how are you? Everything's great. Nobody really wants to say the real story of how you're feeling and the peaks and troughs of business. People talk about the peaks, but not the troughs. So Move allows you to have those deep dive into those conversations and fix.
The power of that as well is, both those people have been paid some money. One of them, the one who wasn't going to say anything, that person said that a week later, I took action on the stuff that you guys recommended me to do. I've been paid half the invoice, which in my head, until luckily the other person had mentioned not being paid, they'd already written off.
Wow.
And now since then they've been paid the full amount. So that's paid for a couple of years worth of membership and Move, just from one,
It wasn't even their question.
It wasn't even their question.
They were just listening in.
Yeah.
Wow, that's so powerful, isn't it? So, I mean, it just goes to show what the collective can do when you're all working together. We're kind of coming to a close shortly, but just the theme of this podcast is obviously people of the pool, and we're showcasing the talent and the diversity and the fantastic initiatives that are happening in the Liverpool City region that people might not know about. Have you got a message for would-be joiners to the Move community? Have you got anything that you'd like to say about joining? And also it'd be interesting to hear what you think about being in Liverpool and why it is a great place to do business, perhaps for the listeners outside of the region.
I mean, obviously, Liverpool, that's my city. It's where I'm from. I live in Wirral now, and that almost makes me even more appreciative of the fact that I'm not in the thick of it, but I make it my business to come to live. I'm in probably Liverpool more times in the week than I'm over in Wirral, the other side of the River Mersey. We've got, when I started Netwalking over in Wirral, the first thing was, when will we get one in Liverpool? And we started in Sefton Park, so it's always been about Liverpool is the hub. Liverpool's the best city. Everyone in Liverpool, that's without doubt, everyone thinks Liverpool's the best city because we really believe it is.
Why do you think it is, Mark? Could you pinpoint anything?
I think it's because, honestly, if you look at the history of Liverpool, there's been so many ups and downs, but the people of Liverpool are resilient and everyone gets together and sticks together. And so when you've got that type of community, anything's possible. And so to actually start Move within the Liverpool community, our goal now is to get it out there to let people know in business, whether you're established, turnover 10, 20 million, or you're thinking of a business idea, or you've just got started, Move is the place to come. Think business, think Move, and get involved and get the support you need.
Thanks. Andrea?
I'd just like to say that if you come to Liverpool, the feeling you get is friendliness. And I think most people that leave just think we are, Scousers generally care. And that's really the ethos of Move as well. We want to make better human beings. We want to make that through connections. We're really lucky we have a lot of green spaces for a city, which allows us to do networking, netwalking, I should say, in some fabulous green spaces. The key thing for me would be that we are a small city, so you can get around the city very quickly to get to meetings. You don't have to jump on transportation to do that type of stuff. So we've got the River Mersey. We've also got the Freeport. We've got a lot going on in this city where, this is being recorded just before Eurovision. The excitement in the city is phenomenal. I've just been to a meeting yesterday about what's coming up in the city. And we're just proud people.
Yeah. So this last one's just for fun, really. And I'll ask each one of you individually. But if you were to name Move by a Beatles song title, what would it be and why? And I'm going to pick on, I was going to pick on you first, Andrea.
That's fine. I would have to pick 8 days a week. And why is that? We run Move across 7 days a week. And if there was an 8th day, we would fill that too. We love what we do. We're passionate about what we do. And when you're working with Move, no matter what level you have connection with us, we are connecting with our whole community that time. So if we had an 8th day, we'd take it.
Brilliant.
And
Mark?
Obviously everyone's always struggling with time. That's one of the questions at Move. So everyone wishes there was an 8th day in the week. So for me, I'd go with Let It Be because it is literally like looking at any problem you've got, and this happens at Move all the time. It's like, just let that be. It is what it is. Let's look at the solution. What are we going to go and do to fix it? And that's always the way, no matter whether at Move Netwalking online, we're always thinking about what's the solution. Let the bad stuff just be and focus on what you can take control of.
I don't think we've had either of those before. I'm looking at Rachel in the studio for confirmation. Rachel? It's amazing. We've asked so many people now and we've never had a single repetition. So whether that's, I don't know, obviously the Beatles' great discography, is that the right word? But yeah, that's brilliant. So just finally to sum up from each of you, if you wanted listeners to take away one thing from today, one key takeaway about anything we've discussed, what would it be, Andrea?
Ensure you have your values intact. When you have your personal values, make sure they run right through your business. So one of ours is to have fun and simplicity. Our other one is simplicity. And they're the two key ones that we use virtually each and every day.
Okay.
We giggle a lot.
100%. For me, it's for, again, all business owners and professionals, knowing whether you're on your own, working from home, or you've got a massive business and you've got loads of staff. you're always more successful when you're around other people, and especially other business owners, other peers, people who are ahead of you in the ladder, people who are below you. Everyone can bring something to the table, but you've got to get yourself in a community. And whether, even if it's not the Move community, that's fine, but get yourself in a community where you can get the support you need. The amount of people that pick up the phone to us or send us a WhatsApp with an issue, and within 5 minutes it's resolved, or they've gone, actually, I didn't think about that, thanks. And then they go about the day and have an amazing day. If they didn't have that, they'd have a terrible time just pondering on an issue. So get yourself involved in a big community.
Brilliant. Well, it's been a pleasure. It's gone so quickly as well. Thank you both, Mark and Andrea from Move.
Our pleasure.
Thank you for having us.
If you want to find out more about some of the amazing things that are going on in Liverpool City region, go to www.tuesday-media.com/People of the Pool. People of the Pool is presented by me, Sophie Wilson. Until next time.